1. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? Welcome back to Good Times with the Boys, guys.
That was really impressive.
That was okay, right?
That was really good.
To be honest, I thought I was gonna crack. I'm not gonna lie.
I am not gonna lie, and I thought you were gonna crack too.
Fuck you. Yeah. Welcome back, guys. First and foremost, I felt like that was an appropriate opening.
Okay.
It is Memorial Day weekend.
It is Memorial Day weekend.
So again, first and foremost, I'm sure I speak for Kangsan and I when we say thank you to the people who are currently serving, who have served, and who we lost and who have sacrificed their lives for this great nation, this great country that we're in. So happy Memorial Day to everyone. Thank you for your service.
Yeah. We have a lot of issues going on right now, but that doesn't take away from the fact that this is still one of the, if not the greatest places on planet Earth.
Correct.
And because of people's sacrifices in defending this country, people like me and you are able to sit down and have a silly podcast where we talk about random shit. So,
yeah,
I think we're really definitely eternally grateful for that. And
equally as appropriate that we open up with the national anthem, because the national anthem has been in the news quite a bit the last week or so.
Yes, for sure.
And there's been a lot of talk, if you are aware of it or not, but a lot of the criticism has come from the NFL and from the NFL world, spawning from the kneeling from Colin Kaepernick and now what it's transcended into, and it's just they need to make up their mind.
Yeah, they seem like they're trying to sort of appease everybody and cover all their bases. And in doing so, the impression I get from the NFL is that that they think that we're not as smart as we are, or that we don't talk to each other as much as we do, because as soon as those rules came out and it was released in terms of the verbiage of the rules, everybody was quick to just sort of point out and just say, what do you mean? Like, it insinuates that there's like this double meaning and double standard to sort of leave it up to interpretation. But the entire idea is, if you don't want people to kneel and you want football players to stand during the national anthem, there should be something that just states that.
Right.
There's other leagues which state that it is mandatory to stand up for whatever reason. In the NBA, everyone has to get by the free throw line, stand up side by side during the national anthem. It's just one of those things that's sort of akin to a workplace policy.
Right.
But the reason we don't really talk about that in terms of the NBA is because there's other facets of the league that allow players to speak up and speak out. The NFL seems to try and tell people to not speak out, and then also turn around and play these rules where it kind of appeases those that want to speak out and say, well, we're not necessarily saying you can't kneel. It's just that you can't kneel where people can't see you, and you have to not give the impression that you're disrespecting the flag, because it kind of seems to be very wavy.
Yeah, there is more autonomy in other sports in comparison to the NFL, where I'm not sure if they're still doing it, but say it's Black History Month or it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and NFL players aren't allowed to, and this is just one example, wear certain attire, wear certain uniforms, or you'll get penalized for voicing yourself based off of whatever thing you're trying to commemorate or celebrate. Whereas in the NBA, you can wear, aside from a Supreme.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up.
Yeah, which is totally fine, because, let's just keep that to the hype beast. But, all these NBA players wearing all these different shoes and these different socks and these these commemorative headbands or armbands. You know, that goes a long way. But I know that Steve Kerr was being interviewed by some people, and I love Steve Kerr. He was an integral piece in multiple Bulls championships for us. So, you know, shout out to him. But, you know, he was saying a lot of things about the NFL, kind of like bashing the NFL, saying about they need more regulation and people need to, you know, they don't allow the players to speak out as much as they want. Whereas I want to say, Steve Kerr, you come from a league that has made it mandatory to do certain things. So it's a give and take. It's not all just black and white. But it is not necessarily a cause for concern, but it's just, you know, it's rubbing a lot of people the wrong way. It's slowly tarnishing the name of the NFL and their credibility in making decisions, and it's a lot of flip-floppy stuff.
Yeah, and first of all, Steve Kerr has no filter. I heard that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a combination of a lot of things, especially with the NFL, because a lot of the debates have been sort of over the actual physical act of kneeling as opposed to the message that the players were trying to send. Mm-hmm. And when you're in a league like the NFL, and a prime example is D'Angelo Williams, he wanted to dye his dreads pink.
Oh, wow.
To support his mom, who I don't want to misquote, but was going through
breast cancer. D'Angelo Williams, Pittsburgh D'Angelo Williams?
Yeah. So, but because the Pittsburgh Steelers colors are black and yellow, and it wasn't during the Breast Cancer Awareness Month sort of celebration by the league, he was told that if he dyed his hair pink, he would get fined by the league for violating uniform rules.
Wow.
So you're taking like bits and pieces of news like that, and so because there's a precedent of what the league has done in the past, and then you're now saying you can't do these things, it's, to me, it seems very evident on the reasons behind it.
Right.
Versus the NBA has, again, the NBA has their own thing. You know, many years ago they had the whole uniform rule. They wanted to restrict how players dressed on the bench, and a lot of it started with Allen Iverson, and there was this fear of, I think the terms that they used was thuggery and you know, in air quotes, a lot of people were concerned about that sort of
thuggery. Let's bring that back.
And so the NBA is not without fault in the past, but in recent years they've allowed players to sort of have a platform and to be able to speak up without the fear of repercussions. Right. So when they say this is just a workplace policy, we ask that everybody stand for the national anthem in this particular formation. Both teams will be facing each other along with the coaching staff, and you will just stand for the national anthem.
Right.
You can understand, okay, that's just something that they prefer to have for a work, like sort of a rule at work. Sort of saying everybody has to wear or dress business casual for a job that you have, even if you may not even run into anybody.
Right.
So I think it isn't necessarily the rules, because like we just talked about, the leagues have different rules, but it's sort of what the league has currently represented in the past few years that's putting all the aim towards the NFL and not the NBA.
Yeah, and I know head coach Mike Tomlin of Pittsburgh has said his own. He's a pretty quiet guy, but he's also very opinionated when it comes to certain topics such as this one. So I'm pretty sure that D'Angelo Williams thing kind of set him a little off. But like, hopefully they'll come to something that's amicable for everybody. I know they're working on, hey, if you don't want to come out, and if as a form of protest you want to stay in the locker room and not come out, I think that then okay, allow that. But you know, the whole kneeling thing, I don't know. I don't know what if they should continue with that. But they gave them options. You know, they gave them options of, if you don't want to come out for this, then you can't be on the sidelines, and you got to be in the locker room and come out when you want to come out, or you know, if you want to be out here, don't kneel, kind of thing. But put a foot down. You know, don't put a knee down. Put a foot down on something, and you know, let's just start moving on with that. And in terms of moving on, for the last seems like several weeks, the boys at Good Times with the Boys have been trying to relocate themselves to a better place and
New headquarters.
New headquarters, exactly, a new HQ for GTWTB. But you know, there's a lot of difficulty in doing that. One, being in LA, and it's just so difficult to find a place, let alone trying to find a place under the stipulations that you want it to be. It's damn near impossible. And I'm about to lose my shit. It's rough.
Yeah, it's been pretty tough. We've looked at a few places, and it seems like there's not enough time to really think about it. And when you're sort of relocating a lot of people, you want to make sure it's sort of the line of best fit for everybody. And that takes time. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it's not giving us as much time as we like, or the options that we're looking for aren't available in a timely manner. It seems like we go visit a house, we decide we want to look at more, and when we look at more, we realize that all the houses we wanted to look at afterwards are off the market.
All gone.
So it's been stressful for sure, but
they don't want us to live, man.
You know, if we want to select HQ, we got to be really specific and particular about it. Mm-hmm. We don't want just any place to call home.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we want to be in a good environment to present a product for our very dedicated listeners on our podcast.
Oh, so many of them. I think a baker's dozen.
And for those of you that do listen and who follow, this is your shout out. Thank you so much. Again, we are a growing conglomerate, and you guys are an essential piece to this. Thank you so much. But one of our listeners actually brought this up to me. We watch Netflix a lot, obviously, right? We watch a lot of Netflix. I watch a lot of The Office on there because I don't watch anything else. But there's a new TV show that I've been getting into.
Okay.
Called Evil Genius.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so it's Evil Genius. It's based around the true story from 2003, I think, about some bank heist and some bombing. But it's interesting how like these movies or these TV shows are so captivating. Maybe because I don't watch a lot of movies and TV shows, just the blockbusters. But man, I start feeling some type of way.
First of all, when you said Evil Genius, I thought it was the TV show that was like Kid Sheldon from Big Bang Theory.
Oh God!
Isn't that show called something Genius, or isn't the word genius in there somewhere?
Young Genius?
I don't know.
That's
what I thought of. So when you said bank robbery, I said, that's a sharp left turn right there.
Sheldon Cooper. Wow.
Yeah, it turns out before he decided to settle down in those apartments, he was a mass murderer.
Yeah, the Flicks presents a lot of, and you know what? Maybe I should probably give more time to. I know Amazon has some shows, and then we're fortunate enough to have HBO Go, but it's easy to stick in the monotony of watching something over and over again, such as The Office, which is not that bad.
Correct.
Because it's one of the greatest series of all time.
Correct.
But I should pay more homage to the people who are making these great TV shows and these great movies and not take them for granted. But hey, keep pumping them out. And you know what? What's cool is I like seeing the people who get those specials on Netflix and how that works, and the names that they've been getting. Adam Sandler, I think I was watching podcasts with Joey Diaz. He has a special, and obviously Dave Chappelle and all these people. Netflix, I don't know how that's possible.
Yeah, they seem to have cornered the comedy market. It seems like every stand-up comedian who's been getting a special has been getting it through Netflix. Before, it used to be Comedy Central and HBO and a lot of those places. But it seems like there is sort of, they're kind of creating a monopoly on stand-up comedians.
Yeah.
I think there was an article on The Ringer many months ago who was just kind of addressing that. I think when the news broke of Dave Chappelle's stand-up comedy specials going on Netflix, sort of talking about the landscape and how it seems like everyone's going to Netflix for those. And, in Chappelle's case, it's interesting because they gave him $60 million. And according to him, all he had to do was go in the vault and pull like 3 recordings. And he's like, here you go. I'll take my check. So it's pretty intense to think how much money is in that. And the number seems to keep rising. Like the next comedian may get more and then more, sort of like in a sports league.
Right. It seems like they're just playing with monopoly money almost when you're in that league of elitism in whatever it might be, action or comedy, what have you. But for someone to say, Dave Chappelle, just because everyone knows you and you've built this acclaim with everybody, we will give you X amount of shit ton of money and just give us something. And then he goes, yeah, let me dust this off and take my money with me. And he's very funny. And both specials, quote unquote, were very funny. I'm just saying, Netflix, reach out to some brothers, man. I could do a quick 10-minute special. You give me $150 and a bus token, and I'll be good to go.
It's been different in terms of like the pre and post Netflix era,
Yeah.
where before Netflix, I was more excited and more willing to try to see movies and TV shows that are sort of outside of my wheelhouse. There are certain movies and certain genres that I will just hands down see no matter what.
Yeah, like Human Centipede or something.
That you're alone on that one. But the other side of it now with Netflix and streaming services that seems to just push so much content out to everybody, I look forward to actually a little bit more of people spoiling it for me. So like if I'm really into World War II movies, I'm really into comedies, action comedies, bad movies like Sharknado, anything Fast and Furious,
which are not bad movies.
Yeah, anything The Rock, anything, there's like certain actors and certain genres you'll always see. So when somebody else approaches me and asks me if I've seen these other shows, whether it's I think it's called 13 Reasons Why or Dear White People, or Black Mirror or any of these other shows, I don't know if I'll have ever the time to really see it. So now when people get excited and ask me about it, I ask them to tell me. And sometimes their storytelling is enough for me to be like, I don't need to see it. But then I start relying on that person as sort of my oracle of that show.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how I can try and watch as much as I can. Because there's no way, the amount of content that they pump out.
It's too much.
You just, unless you're like like an actual couch potato, you won't be able to get through all that content,
Yeah, you know what I do? When people, again, like I said, I don't watch a lot of movies or TV shows, but a lot of people like to think that people watch a TV show because if it's good, and they'll think, oh, everybody in the mama watches this, and when they find people that don't, they chastise them, and they're just like, oh my God, are you serious? You haven't watched this? So what I do is they say, hey man, okay, ask me if I watch 13 Reasons Why, or whatever it's called.
Okay. Hey, German.
Hey, what's up, Kangsan? How you doing?
Hey, have you seen that show on Netflix? I think it's called 13 Reasons Why.
Oh, 13 Reasons Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that shit is crazy, bro.
Yeah? What do you think about episode 6?
You know what? I haven't gotten to that yet. Episode 4 was my favorite.
Really?
Yeah. It was. It's a lot of. There's a lot of mixed feelings that I get from it.
Oh, like what parts?
Well, just the premise of it and just the idea of making a TV show like that where it's almost you're living in the repercussions after, and you get to feel a certain type of way, but you're not really sure which side that you're on. And so, yeah, I think when I get more into it, and probably sit down, because I kind of just watch it in the background a little bit. But so, I feel like.
So what do you think? Are you pro Cindy or are you anti Cindy?
Oh, I'm definitely anti Cindy.
Oh, good, because she's not in the show.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
So usually usually people don't take it to the depths that Kangsan do.
I have my suspicions.
But that's exactly what I do when I don't want to hear it from somebody. Hey man, have you watched Black Mirror? Yeah, dude, man, I finished the whole thing. That shit is crazy. And usually when you overemphasize it and you over agree, usually the people will be like, yeah, it's fucking crazy, right? I'm like, yeah, dude. Yeah. And I'll go back to my desk or whatever and be like, what the fuck is a Black Mirror? You know what I mean?
That's interesting. I use the other way. So like, okay, so ask me.
Oh, okay. Kangsan, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much. Dude, I was actually checking out this. I know it's been around for a while, but I recently started getting into it. Black Mirror. Have you watched that?
Nah.
Really? Dude, everyone and their mom has watched it, dude.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you how it goes.
I gotta go. See? Minimalism.
See, look, whichever way you go.
To each their own.
Yeah, whichever way you go. But see, now you've offended me.
Oh.
See?
Okay. In this
Right.
in this scenario.
In this scenario.
Yeah. Ask me if I care.
The answer is no.
Yeah. I certainly like. There are those people that are like, oh, I can't believe you don't see that. And there's a part of me that wants to look at them and be like, well, yeah, start believing it.
Yeah.
Not everybody's gonna watch everything, you know. But it's tough because like sometimes I feel that way too. Like I catch myself doing that. So
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I'm like that with Game of Thrones. So every Monday when I go to work, like the water cooler talk, you're like, did you see last night's episode? And somebody goes, no, I didn't watch it. The first reaction inside of me, I don't express it out loud, but inside of me, I'm like, how can you not watch it? It's like the greatest.
Get the fuck out of my face right now.
Yeah, there's fucking everything is in the show you ever wanted in your life. But then the words that I say is, okay, well, you know, we'll talk about it when you get a chance, and I walk away. I don't want to be that person.
Spoiling thing. Yeah. Yeah. The water cooler talk is fun, and I've lived my life bullshitting all through my life, so I figure, yeah, just why not keep going. However, when they do say, oh yeah, man, what do you think about the last episode? And then I say, oh, I haven't watched it yet, man. Sorry, don't spoil it. Right? And then I go,
that's a good one.
Right?
That's a good way to get
always
at it.
deflect. Like, oh, I haven't watched it yet, dude. Don't talk to me. Oh yeah, you should really check it out. And I'm like, oh, okay, I never will. You know what I mean? So that's what I'll do. But last night we got together, watch some basketball.
LeBron James,
or baloncesto, as they say in Española. What's up, bilingual? And it's just watching like a masterpiece.
Did you ever read the article about the nicknames that I think in China they give the NBA players?
Like gods?
Because they don't have sort of, sometimes it doesn't have the direct translation.
Oh, right.
So like LeBron James here is known King James, right? But it's not King James in China.
It's James King.
So, no. God damn it. But they have a different word for it. And then conversely, when you translate it back into English, it means something totally different, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull up the list.
It's like when people get those Chinese characters on their arm and it says, oh, it means courage. It's actually, nah, dude, that means toilet.
But I want to point out that I kind of like the Chinese nicknames a little bit more. So here, just hear me out. Have you been through this?
No.
Okay. So for LeBron, his nickname translated from Chinese, I'm not sure if it's Cantonese or Mandarin.
So they took King James from America, translated to China, and then now they translated from China back to English.
Well, like, okay, so I'm going to use LeBron as an example. Okay. So in English, King James is a slang term. The translation for King James in Chinese is a slang term for spoiled only child, because they had this one child policy, right? Yeah. So they have to change it to kind of get closest as they can to King James.
Yeah.
So when they say, when they refer to King James, the translation is the little emperor. Okay.
I don't know how I feel about that.
So, I mean, it's not super accurate, but...
The little emperor?
The little emperor. So I'm going to keep going, okay?
That's so cute.
Russell Westbrook
Ooh.
his nickname is Wei, W-E-I, dude. So his phonetic name in Chinese is really long, like the Russell Westbrook. Just think of that in a Chinese accent. So they shortened it to Wei dude. So because, Westbrook, Wei, it starts like that.
Okay.
And so there's that. Steph Curry's is the best. So one of Steph Curry's phonetic names is pronounced Ku Li in Chinese.
Okay.
And the second character is a combination of characters of the sun and the ground. And so when you write that character in Chinese, it also is slang for the word fuck. So Steph Curry's nickname is Fucks the Sky. Which is
so appropriate.
Right, because he literally fucks the sky because he shoots so many long range. So there's that.
China don't change.
So another nickname for Steph Curry is they call it Sprout God. And the elementary school student, because they're kind of playing on his like smaller stature.
Sprout God?
Yeah.
Like the Pokemon.
And Giannis, his nickname over there is Letters Bro, because there's so many letters in his name. Okay. So they just shortened it to Letters Bro. Kobe's is Snail Shell, which I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't get that.
When Kobe was younger, they called him Peter Pan, which literally translates in Chinese to Little Flying Warrior, which kind of makes more sense.
Okay.
And then at the end, he became Chatterbox or Gossip, which rhymes with Old Kobe in Chinese somehow. So then Snail Shell rhymes with My Guy Kobe, like the translation of it. So they just decided.
That is so confusing.
Yeah. Manu Ginobili is known as the Demon Blade, which is fucking sick.
Damn, that's sick.
That's probably the second best one.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
The Demon Blade. Shaq is the giant shark.
Oh, that was pretty good too. Megalodon.
Because the Chinese word for shark is shayu, and it sounds like the first sound in Shaquille.
Oh, okay. They really went
deep
into that stuff.
Klay Thompson is known as the Buddha because his hairstyle compared to Chinese art, the depiction of Buddha. So
yeah.
I guess apparently it looks like Klay Thompson. By the way, China Clay sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like that. Why did they call him China Clay? Because he's soft?
No, because here in the States, Clay comes off as a very sort of melancholy and calm demeanor, and then when he went to China, he was the one that was like coughing off of vapors and got hung on the rim when he tried to dunk. And
that's right.
Was partying it up.
Loser.
Yeah, so they call him China Clay. Carmelo Anthony is called Melon because of the word mellow.
Okay.
Durant is Schoolbag Dew, and Dew is short for Durant, and because he used to always wear backpacks.
Okay. Oh, school bag.
Yeah.
I thought you said skull bag.
No. Charles Barkley, he's called the Flying Pig. And literally, there's no explanation.
That's so good.
That's it just says self-explanatory.
The Flying Pig. Man, I wish Shaq or Ernie would have said that.
Michael Jordan is known as the Gang Boss.
The Gang Boss?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
see, how do you come up with that?
His Jordan's ordinary name in Chinese, and then it has a character, is Qiaodan.
Qiaodan?
Qiaodan. But it's also the surname of Cao Feng, the leader of the Beggars sect in popular wuxia martial arts novels, often known simply as Gang Boss Cao.
Wow.
So they kind of connected it all.
That is so deep, dude.
So there's Dirk. Dirk is named after a Panzer tank. Eric Gordon.
Because he's German?
I think so.
You racist?
I think
actually, it's not that racist.
Eric Gordon is known as Round Face Mamba because his face is so round.
That's appropriate.
So there's a lot of these nicknames. Shout out to @Nick_Kapoor, who kind of started this whole thread back
Nick Kapoor
at the beginning of May. So, it's really funny, the idea of somebody like Steph, who's really religious and into his faith, being nicknamed "fucks the sky," is so appropriate.
Oh, I did see. Okay, that's where that came from. Yeah, I saw someone tweet about that. Oh, I want to know my name.
And you do you remember when the NBA used to have those jersey nights where they put your nickname on the back of your jersey?
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine Clay's that says
or China Clay?
yeah, or China Clay, like it says "fucks the sky" and the big 30 on the back.
I'd like to see LeBron's jersey say "Little Emperor" on it. That's kind of cute.
Yeah, it's also a play on the fact that he's actually not little at all.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very sarcastic.
But
yeah, that was
he balled out yesterday.
And that's whatever sport it is. I don't care if you are a fan or not a fan. The playoffs are essential, and I think that's why so golf, for instance, recently implemented this playoff style in 2000. When did Tiger win it? 2007 or something like that. So actually, it's been a while, 11, 12 years. That it's a post-season type of competition now. It's a playoff, right? Different from the regular season. And there is nothing like playoff sports, and you're already excited to see a sport, especially say for instance in football where you only get 16 or 18 or 16 games a season. So you're already excited about watching the game every Sunday and Thursday. But it's a testament to how dope the playoffs are, because when the playoffs do happen, you're just like triple, quadruple, even more excited. And this is what playoff basketball is all about.
Yeah, it's like what Andre Iguodala said: buttholes get tight during the playoffs.
I'm gonna get a tattoo of that.
It says buttholes get tight
in Chinese.
Yeah, for those who criticize LeBron for sort of always seeming to defer in big moments, yesterday was one of those times where you can definitively say that that's never going to be the case.
Correct.
Because, first of all, those times where he got criticized, in his mind and in many minds of people who have played basketball before, is just that you're making the right play. You want to make the smart play, the smart basketball play to get your team the highest percentage shot possible. Mm-hmm. And that's the overall goal of the game, right? Put the ball through the net more often than the other team.
As easily as possible.
And I think yesterday was one of those times where he looked around and he saw that he couldn't trust anybody else.
Pretty much.
And he literally just took it on himself to say, yeah, I'm better than literally everybody here, and I think it's time I start showing people why.
The only thing I don't like is it's basically what he's doing is just, I mean, if you think about it, how he's playing basketball right now it doesn't look simple, but it's very simple. And you brought this up to when we were watching a few games ago. Just watch a Cleveland possession versus a Boston possession, see the amount of passes, and see how the team collaboratively works together rather than someone just in ISO all the time. And the more I watch it, now that I'm actually cognizant of it, Boston runs fantastic plays. They work as a team, especially with their two best players out. Whereas Cleveland is it's basically just strong arming or shooting threes, and it's concerning because again, you can only do that for so long. You're not as versatile as a team that's multifaceted and can do many things to win against you rather than just a linear path to the basket every single time, which what seems like LeBron is doing. If he can't penetrate, then he'll do his crazy ass fadeaways, and if he can't penetrate, he'll get fouled. Or dish out. That's pretty much all the options that you really have. Yeah,
there was a stark difference between the game flow on a Boston possession and a Cleveland possession. It reminded me on the Cleveland side of the ball a lot of sort of when Kobe was. It's similar to when Kobe was playing still, when it was a lot of looking around. So when they give LeBron the ball, LeBron seems to kind of scan the court, and it looks like he's anticipating some off-ball action to happen, whether it's pinned down by Kevin Love, whether it's a flare screen or a flex screen or any kind of a cut or anything. But once they give the ball to LeBron, they clear out the way. There doesn't seem to be a lot of movement. Mm-hmm. You compare that with Boston, and Boston's always seems to sort of start off with some sort of quick action, whether it's a handoff or a pick and roll. And then they'll get into another action, which is another, again, handoff or pick and roll. But on the offside or on the opposite side of the ball, where the action isn't happening, there still seems to be some sort of movement, whether it's a backdoor cut, whether it's, even if they're not even really doing anything for each other and they're just going to a different spot, just moving causes your defender just to have to be aware of where you are.
Right.
And anything is better than just standing there.
And maybe also, too, because they don't have that LeBron James, which they do have or they don't have like that player, which Kyrie can be, which Gordon Hayward can be, which LeBron is, which Russell Westbrook is, KD. So because they're missing that person who is the facilitator, the leader, the general, that they have to resort to. And again, that's a round of applause to Brad Stevens for drawing up these plays, because everyone knows that LeBron runs Cleveland, and there are plays that Tyronn Lue maybe runs, but I'm pretty sure it's up to LeBron. Whereas in Boston right now, they don't have anybody as a play caller, and they're relying on their coaching staff, who is doing a phenomenal job, because they don't. And it might be different when Kyrie and Gordon Hayward are back. Maybe it might be just like this what LeBron is doing, where it's always ISO, or maybe their play, their efficiency in moving around and passing the ball around might not be as good when you have your general back, or especially two of them back. Maybe it'll change and they have to play like this. But yeah, Cleveland is just it's very one dimensional, and it's very concerning to see, just because when you say, for instance, they do make it and they're playing against Golden State is more, although they have multiple general people, or people who are like generals, they are more like a Boston rather than just an ISO all the time, unless you're KD.
Yeah, and there was a sound bit from the last game between Golden State and Houston. During a timeout, KD and Steve Kerr were talking, and Steve Kerr was saying, hey, back when Michael was playing and him and Phil would get into it, Phil would always ask Michael, who's open? Mm-hmm. And the idea behind it was get your teammates involved early. You get them involved because, I think it's something that only people who have played basketball, and perhaps you can relate if you played another team sport, but there's an energy in that ball. There's no empirical data, and I'm not like trying to break it down scientifically, but it's just,
or on some Monstars type shit.
Yeah, but it's just the idea that if you keep the ball moving, if everybody has a chance to get involved, the energy sort of picks up on the team. People decide to run a little faster, run a little harder, rebound the ball a little better.
You know what? Yeah,
right
I do feel that when we were playing in the league, and I would get a pass, even if it's just like a handoff, it's instant gratification because you have the ball in your hand. Even if you're not making a move to the basket, but having the ball in your hand and dribbling around, and it's almost as if once you get the ball, it's like you have another set of eyes, and you're even more astute, and you're looking for things. Yes, there is I do believe that there is an unsaid or only felt power when you get that.
Yeah, and I see it in Cleveland, and I saw it in Golden State last game, that people were like, when KD was getting the ball, he would trust his teammates sort of in the beginning, but when it got down to it, he just seemed to look for the basket, and that kind of throws sort of the funk off when it comes to sort of teamwork and cooperation, and that kind of translates on the defensive side of the end, because when you're leaving your man to help somebody else out, the idea or the faith is somebody else is going to then help me. Mm-hmm. And that energy sort of helps with that sort of unsaid communication or unspoken communication. And so when I see LeBron sort of just standing there while everybody else is looking at him and everyone's waiting for somebody else to make the first move, I get worried because that's not sustainable in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Especially now that they're going into Game 7 in Boston, where the Celtics have been phenomenal during the playoffs.
Yeah.
There has to be some sort of communication where LeBron says, look, everybody has to get involved. Everybody has to hustle and set screens and rebound and pass. Because there's also, you can kind of see it on both sides. One, yes, LeBron has to do a better job of continuously getting players involved. It seems like he's kind of picking and choosing who gets involved and who doesn't.
And at the same time, not being careless with shit.
Yes. And then on the flip side, if you're everybody else not named LeBron, you have to take it upon yourself to always be alert and understand that even if you don't get the ball, it doesn't mean you're unimportant to the success of the team. They're going to need you. There's a reason why you're on the court at that moment.
Right.
That maybe there's a certain matchup they want to exploit. Maybe you're there to play defense against a certain player. There's some reason why you're out there on the court. And so you have to take pride in that. And even if you may not get the ball or the shot that you want, you have to always be alert. So it's two sides, but
right.
I think that's an important thing. And that's part of the reason why regardless of the success that the Rockets have, I still have some reservation because I see that a lot in Houston.
Right. Okay, how about this? Let's play a little game. Rapid fire round.
Okay.
In their prime.
Ooh, okay.
In their prime. Much in the clutch. Last shot, game winner.
Kobe Bryant.
Okay, hang on.
Game's over. What's next?
Wrong. Okay, just rapid fire round. I'm gonna name. Continuously name two names. You pick one of the names in their primes. Okay, in their primes.
Who I would want for the last shot?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Eyes are closed.
Yes.
Senses are shut down.
Just feel this.
I'm
okay?
fucking the sky.
Here we go. Fucks the sky. Okay.
That would be a great tattoo, by the way.
I know.
Not in Chinese. You just put "fucks this guy" in English.
I want it as a tramp stamp. Fucks the sky. All right. Allen Iverson, Derrick Rose.
Allen Iverson.
Zydrunas Ilgauskas, Zaza Pachulia.
Ilgauskas.
Okay.
I would. Okay. The only way I would trust Zaza is if I was on the Russian side and James Bond was about to steal my secrets.
There you go.
Okay.
Robert Horry, Sean Elliott.
Ooh. Robert Horry. Sean Elliott did hit a big shot.
I know. From the corner.
Okay, by the way, just on a side note, that shot, if you look at he had to tiptoe the sideline, catch and shoot a corner three. Imagine doing that with like size, however many big his feet are.
Right. Like a size, even if you can be conservative, like a size 13.
That is so difficult.
That is.
But big shot Rob. So there's that.
Nick Young, J.R. Smith.
Ooh, Nick Young.
Okay. Let me see here. Carmelo, KD.
Prime. One shot. One opportunity.
One bowl of mom spaghetti.
KD, but Melo's pretty close.
Okay. Let's Kobe, Jordan. Automatic. That should be automatic. John Starks or Mark Jackson?
Probably Mark Jackson.
Okay. Gary Payton, Derrick Rose.
One shot
in prime.
Gary Payton.
Okay. All right. We have a lot of love for Derrick Rose for sure.
I love Derrick Rose, but I just think Derrick Rose, prime Derrick Rose, breakaway layup, that's 2 points.
Okay.
Like a fast break. Mm-hmm. It could be 1-on-2, 1-on-3. I trust Derrick Rose. When we're talking last minute game winning shots.
Yeah.
We're talking the possibility of jumpers, fadeaways, elbow J's, threes.
You take everything into consideration.
30-footers, yeah. Take
Okay.
everything into consideration. And I think Gary would have hit more jumpers than Derrick Rose would have. But
Okay.
Derrick Rose would finish around the rim way better than Gary Payton.
JJ Redick or Kyle Korver?
Redick.
Okay. I think I'll take that also.
I think the difference is I just think JJ's a little bit better at shooting while moving. I feel like Korver his strength comes in the catch and shoot or off of a pick or a handoff where Korver's really good at jumping straight up and down regardless of whether he's running left to right, right to left.
Okay, yeah.
Backward forward backwards. He's really good at it, but he needs that sort of help in terms of a screen or a good pass.
Correct. Yeah, I've seen JJ Redick jump 3 feet to the side and make a 3-pointer multiple times.
I think JJ can let his momentum sort of carry him, and he uses that as a weapon to sort of not get his shot blocked.
Right.
Maybe somebody's tailing him, and he jumps over to the side, and he lets the guy think he's jumping straight up, whatever the case may be. So I think that's where the difference comes in.
Okay.
By the way, JJ Redick, great pod host. So
JJ Redick has a podcast?
yeah, he's great in it. I love it. So,
JJ Redick, hey, what's up, man? I mean, good luck next year, but hey, I'm glad you have a podcast. You seem like a really nice guy, and I would like you on my team. I have not been pooping well.
Oh, okay. I don't know how
Okay.
how we're gonna segue from one to the other, but I'll find a way to edit this.
How do you like that?
I don't know how to feel about it, but go ahead.
When we talk about things like this, you don't need to segue.
Yeah, I can't wait till I write the description for this pod.
Yeah, you guys are welcome. And we mentioned last time we're doing intermittent fasting, okay? And I used to poop pretty regularly,
How many times a day?
at least once or twice,
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
Then again, when I was intermittent fasting, I was eating more food. But I'm thinking maybe I don't know if it's maybe my diet, because I still eat a lot of food, but I'm not pooping as much.
Do you feel constipated?
No.
You're just not going as much.
Sometimes I feel constipated.
Do you feel heavier?
No, I don't. I feel less bloated as well also. But it's got to go somewhere.
You're not eating the same amount, are you?
Maybe a little less.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a cause for concern. I just wanted to state that for everybody.
Well, thanks for letting us know.
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know that there's just a little update in my life. But I do have one issue that I've been getting for quite some time now, and it deals a little bit with vanity. And so okay,
All right.
so you go to downtown LA.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You go downtown LA. You're walking the streets as a regular civilian. You're not working. You're just for whatever reason there visiting, or actually better yet, New York City downtown, right? Say Manhattan, downtown Manhattan.
Okay.
And you're walking around and you see people in what do you usually see them in?
Suits?
Suits.
Okay.
Perfect. And no one bats an eye. You're just walking in suits.
Right.
Okay. And so I occasionally dabble in the formal wear at work, which is totally appropriate, right? I wear a suit. But when is it going to come a time where people are so surprised by seeing that?
I don't know.
You know, when you wear a suit, oh, are you going in for an interview? Are you going to court?
Oh, people are coming up to you and saying those
Yeah,
things?
it's just I'm wearing a suit. What, you don't say that to Bob? Bob has a suit on. Mm-hmm. Why does it seem such? It's almost as if it's an anomaly for me to wear a suit.
I think they're just jealous.
You think so?
Yeah, they hate us because they ain't us.
I mean, I would hope so too, but I don't know. Treat me like treat me like a regular
I
white
just
person
want to
in a
be
suit.
normal.
Yeah, I'm just a regular dude. But I don't. Actually, it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice that people talk to you, but not for that.
I think suits are still a little bit out of the norm just because it's a little difficult to picture somebody say that they enjoy wearing suits. I, for one, do not like wearing suits. But when I do wear one, I feel pretty snazzy. It's just really restrictive to my ability to eat food.
Okay.
And breathe.
Or run.
So there's those. Yeah, or run. So those are my main motivating factors against wearing suits. I think it's just a way for them to kind of comment, and maybe they feel jealous that they don't get to wear a suit.
Yes.
So, fuck it.
And it's a fallacy when you see...
Keep donning it.
In the TV shows, when you see people in suits, and I tweeted this out before, in people who are pursuing others, like say if they're running for something, or you always see a lot of people running for the subway, or if it's like a police chase, a detective is wearing a suit and running, and how they just make it look so natural. So the other day, I was wearing my suit and I was running, not late, but I was pretty much on time, but I wanted to be there early, and I was running from my car into the office building, and I don't know how people do it. Running in a suit is so difficult. I was sweating so much. I'm also kind of fat. But when people do it, especially with dress shoes on and make it look so natural,
yeah,
I applaud them for doing that.
I think some of the nicer, like once you get higher in the price range, it has a little bit of a stretch maybe.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm still poor right now.
Yeah, me too.
Huh. Okay. You made a Facebook post a couple of days ago.
Yes, I did.
Which I found very funny, very relatable, and also a little daunting. Kind of, well, actually not daunting, sad. It was sad for me, where it dealt with someone in the 9th grade.
Yeah. So there was one of our friends from high school, Daniel, gets to review resumes from freshmen from our alma mater, the California Academy of Math and Science.
I didn't know he was doing that. Shout out Daniel.
And he's been working with our 9th grade English teacher, Miss Breichel, who collects these resumes and sends them to Daniel for review. And one of them, he took a picture and said, "This guy's in 9th grade." And the letter basically was just saying, "Hey, I understand you're an engineer," writing the letter to Daniel. I wanted to be an engineer too. I want to highlight a couple of my accomplishments, and any notes that you have about my resume would be of great help.
Wow.
Next year, I'm, planning on taking a college level chemistry class, and
as a 9th grader.
Yeah, and just talking like all these things, and I was really happy for him. And then I reflected back on my life, and then that's what triggered the post, was just a play on comparing this kid who, at this point in his life, he's on track for a very great future.
Oh yeah.
And I'm comparing him in 9th grade versus me in 9th grade, when all I did was try and create a 2-minute handshake with our friend Brandon.
Genius.
Who had really long hair at the time, and my mom's friend thought I was dating some girl. But me and Brandon, we would spend time after school just thinking of different moves, and then we would have this running joke that we thought was funny at the time, where I would put him on my shoulders and we'd just walk around campus and just say hi to people and act like so nonchalant, like, "Oh, no big deal. We're just..."
Real life Rembrandts, guys.
And so it's just so interesting to think like that was the boy that I was, and look at this kid trying to make a name for himself and taking a college level chemistry class
as a freshman in high school.
And just thought, wow.
Well, then again, I'm not that surprised because of the high school that we've gone to. It's a public magnet school. It's nationally ranked as one of the best high schools in United States, and it takes in, it breeds, and it births geniuses.
Yeah,
basically.
Except for yours truly.
Except for these two sitting here in front of you, and you're listening to us do a podcast. This is why we have a podcast.
But you know what? I wanted to write that post because just to highlight the idea that, hey, if you feel that there's the future is not in great hands, just know that there's always kids like this out here, and just shine a light to like also say, don't forget we're all sort of idiots before,
right? And
we're still here trying to make this world a better place. So don't forget those two things. And also, Facebook is no longer the area of where people primarily see pictures of their kids and pets on their feeds now. And yeah. I try my best to sort of bring that back and just
I like that.
Highlight silly things that happen, embarrassing things that happened to me. Because that was the era of Facebook that I came into, and that was what attracted me before.
The simplicity of it.
All these things involving politics and data hacks and all these crazy things.
Yeah, Facebook. What happened to you?
Facebook was a simpler time where we got to see who was getting married, who was pregnant, where we got to see, oh man, this person was really fat in high school. Now they're really skinny. Good for them. Or, oh man, this person I didn't like got really fat. Haha, fuck you. The simpler things. So, I just wanted to help highlight that too, and sort of bring that back.
That's good, and I think that's what Facebook is trying to do. And I haven't posted on Facebook in years because for that reason alone. I was using it for vanity. However, it was funny stuff that I was posting, and maybe I should have posted it anyway because all you see now is propaganda and the same people posting the stuff over and over again, and that's what I hated. And sometimes I had to block a few people. I'm not going to name their names, but I've blocked a few people just because it's like, bro, you haven't anything better to do but post all this shit every day. So now all I use Facebook for, I'm going to get back on Facebook and start making these funny comments again and these funny posts. But right now it's strictly just for research purposes right now.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
And I'm going to stay away from that. If you want to, everybody gets to use Facebook for whatever they can. I just don't see that enough. It's just sort of that every day-to-day relatability with somebody else, that you maybe would like to keep in touch with, but just life sort of put you in a different spot and you can't really talk to them every day. There's a lot of people out there that I really do care for, that I really think are great and have a great future. And regardless of how old you are, I still want to see what you're up to. And I'm happy when I see you succeed and when people post, whether they graduated or they're getting married, you're genuinely happy when those things happen to people.
Speak for yourself.
I am. So,
I'm kidding, everybody. I'm very happy for you. I'm very happy for everyone.
Not to name any names.
Yeah, I'm very happy for everybody. I'm just kidding.
But, yeah, just.
So I was on Facebook earlier today, just because even though I don't spend a lot of time on there, and what's kind of cool is when you see a video on there, you watch a video, it typically starts a thread of other videos similar to the video that you initially watched. Okay, and so I was watching a video of, I think it was not Britain's Got Talent, but I think it was like Turkey's or Czechoslovakia's, or the Czech Republic's version of Britain's Got Talent, and there's this girl, and this is how my mind works, okay, and this is how I'm gonna get to the point. But there's this girl who was doing her own rendition of Billie Jean's or Michael Jackson's Billie Jean, right? She played on the piano. It was acoustic. It was really good. She had like a folk kind of feel to her, which I can really give two shits about, but it was a very good performance. She's gonna make it, right? And so my mind started thinking. I was like, oh, Billie Jean, okay, cool. Michael Jackson, dead, okay, not cool. But Billie Jean. So first of all, I thought he was talking about Billie Jean King.
Okay,
and I probably should have prefaced by saying it. I'm a big Michael Jackson fan, but apparently I'm not a big Michael Jackson fan because he wasn't talking about Billie Jean King at all. One of the most decorated tennis players of all time was not talking about her.
Okay.
Whereas his reference to Billie Jean is a how do you call it? It's a mashup of all the groupies, and he basically characterized his experience and his Jackson 5, his group experience with groupies as one entity, calling them Billie Jean. So it wasn't necessarily that he's talking about a certain person, or was he? A la this video or this thought process. So I started doing a little more research. There's this girl named Mickey Brown, I think that's her name, that she used to be called Billy back in the day.
Okay.
That may or may not have had sexual relations. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. How'd that sound as a Bill Clinton?
That was a terrible Bill Clinton.
Was it?
But the words were correct.
Okay. Yeah, that sounded pretty good to me. But anyway, I think she was one of the groupies. She said, obviously, she's not one of the groupies. And about saying that the Billie Jean is not my lover. It's the father, I'm not, I am the one.
That was, okay, there you
go. That part, right?
That is closer to Michael Jackson than your Bill Clinton is.
You don't like Michael. Okay, no, I'm not going to try that. So, yeah, so I did a little more research on that. And, you know, I don't know if she was trying to claim that her son was the son of Michael Jackson or whatever. But I did a little research. I found out who the son is, right? His name is B. Howard, Brandon Howard or Brian Howard or whatever his name is.
Okay.
And he looks exactly like Michael Jackson.
Are you serious?
Dude, so I don't know when this came out, but there was a TMZ report. I know there's one in 2016. I don't know if there's one in 2017 or 2018. But there's a video of this Brandon Howard, whatever his name is, standing in front of a camera, recording, trying to dispel all the speculation that people are saying about, like, I want a paternity test and all that stuff. And I was looking at him and I was like, holy shit, this guy looks like fucking Michael Jackson.
Damn.
So really quickly, what I'm just gonna do, because I want to see, like, B. Howard, Michael Jackson's son. Okay, this guy.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
That's Michael Jackson's son. Okay, and just like any other roadie, or just like not roadie, any other person of high fame who's a musician, I'm pretty sure Michael Jackson had his fair share of fun with the groupies as well. Okay, and then I just think this one just slipped. I don't know. To me, it was kind of funny. I still don't know what the truth is, but I tell you what, you guys can check it out for yourselves. Just type in B as in Beta Howard, Michael Jackson's son, and there's a video on there. Michael Jackson's son B. Howard speaks out, and you guys can make your own assumptions about that, because this fool looks exactly like Michael Jackson.
There you go. Hit German up.
Hit German up. Hit me up. Yeah. So, what else you got going on for the rest of this weekend? This beautiful weekend that we have. This beautiful Memorial Day weekend.
Well, this past weekend, or this past week, I should say, was the release of some rap albums, and A$AP Rocky and his album was okay, and I thought it was good, but it wasn't the best I've heard from him. But Pusha T dropped an album, Daytona, 7 tracks, a lot of crazy stories behind the artwork and just sort of the creative process with Kanye.
There's only one track that matters on there.
And so there's a track called Infrared, and a line where he's talking to seemingly Drake, sort of saying, how do you imagine resolving or writing resolutions when you don't write songs for yourself, sort of deal.
Yikes.
And he addressed it in an interview, sort of saying his words are that he's not downplaying Drake's ability. He just feels that people who write their own rhymes are separate than people who
the more credible
collaborate with others.
None of these ghost writers.
So then Drake later that day, last night, dropped a response track called Duppy. And he kind of goes after the entire Good Music franchise, especially Pusha T, talking about you're not even top 5 in your own crew.
That was so funny.
Talking about
that was so funny.
talking about if you come at me saying I can't collaborate with people on a couple of verses, then how do you feel about your boss Kanye? And he was referring to 30 hours and Father Free, Stretch My Hands, and he's saying that he's done things that he didn't think Kanye was going to use, and he ends the response track by just saying like, also at the end we're gonna have to charge you because now we just brought more ears to your album, sort of thing. And
my God,
Pusha T responded on social media just saying, send the invoice for 20 racks, I got you, kind of thing. And I think it's a healthy back and forth.
Yes,
because Drake already has a relationship with Kanye. Kanye has a relationship with Pusha T.
Yep.
And I think it's just sort of it's part marketing, part
it's all a show, baby.
Yeah, it's all about the green. So, because Drake's dropping an album in June, Kanye's dropping an album in June.
Oh my God, June.
So, I think they're just creating the hype. But this version of Drake is my favorite version of Drake. This version of hip hop, where they're going back and forth through their song, is my favorite form of hip hop. It's sort of like getting guys together and you just talk a bunch of shit to each other, and it's all good and fun. And it's an ability to kind of show off how witty and how smart you can be.
Yeah, enough with this soft shit, man.
And that banter is so nice. And, the internet obviously is enjoying it too. So I'm looking forward to spending this weekend just sort of listening to some more music, listening to new music, getting a little bit deeper into that sorts of thing. It's a longer weekend, so we have, extra day off of work. So...
Cool.
Some more time to catch up on some sleep. And yeah, I mean, for the most part, that's been about it. And I've really been big into this sort of wave recently, and I know we're wrapping things up, but we're two guys who are trying to just sort of create our own art or create our own way, so to speak.
Yeah.
With Andrew and the other guys.
Take the path least traveled.
And it's very scary for somebody like us to kind of start something from scratch. Half the time we don't know what we're doing.
I'll tell you what, I don't know what I'm doing.
A lot of times we're not confident because it's something we've never done before. So when I see people that I know explore this realm of the unknown to try different creative things and can produce art from it, whether it's a drawing, a photograph, a painting, writing, a podcast, I do my best to support with my wallet, because that's ultimately like the best way you can support somebody, right? Of course,
yeah. Ultimate form of appreciation.
So this week, I just want to give a quick shout out. There were two people that I talked to that I've had, our paths have crossed in the past. So one, Jess Hernandez, she went to CAMS. She's a few years younger than us, but she played basketball too. And so she contributes towards a few magazines about food and just sort of history and things like that. So she takes the pictures. She likes to blog or vlog about her trips and travel. And
Jess Hernandez?
Yeah. So,
shout out, Jess.
Shout out to you. And a girl I used to work with at Best Buy down in San Diego, Sierra, who's one of the dopest human beings I've ever met. She actually was all gung-ho about when we were talking about sort of doing the podcast, and she's doing a podcast herself with her wife, and it is called
shout out to Sierra.
Follow Dreams with Kelly Valentine. So they're traveling. The premise, I did a little studying this morning because I wanted to do this on purpose. They're sort of traveling up and down the West Coast and talking to people that they've been influenced by creatively or what have you, to sort of have a talk about different various subjects. So they just started that. They're doing a podcast series and matching it with a YouTube series. So it's very exciting when you see people sort of take the chance and take the risk and betting on themselves to say, I may not know what I'm doing. The things I do now may not work, but I know if I keep doing it, it's only going to get better from here. And that's what we're trying to do with these episodes. And we're trying to pump these out as much as we can. And we're trying to get into the YouTube space and the social media space.
Correct.
And, writing and photography and all these different arts. It's very difficult coming from a culture where the arts and creativity isn't celebrated. We're sort of being told to do the things in a practical and logical manner.
Right.
And it works for some people. It does. And those people have gone on to live a great life and enjoy themselves. And I see them going to festivals and parties every weekend because they're Monday through Friday, they're, in the medical field, or they're teaching or whatever, and they're living their life. And I'm very happy for them as well. But when that doesn't work for you and you want to try these new things, it's really difficult to sort of get out of that road. An analogy that I like to use was told by the author Michael Pollan, where imagine like a hillside full of fresh snow, fresh powder, and you're at the top of the mountain and you pour water down the mountain. It's going to travel and create these little valleys. And the more you do it, it gets to a point where if you pour water, it has to go through those channels. It can't go through a different way because these channels are just so hardened in the mountainside. And so when you're trying to break out, that's the valley that we're trying to get out of. And it's very difficult. So when I see other people kind of make their own way and make their own life, it's very exciting because it gets me inspired, gets me motivated, and you sort of kind of create this small community. And hopefully we can all look back and laugh at all the silly shit we did and be happy.
Like making them handshakes when you're in 9th grade. And
dude, that was on point. Me and Brandon, shout out to Brandon also.
I would take that over a college class, chemistry class also.
The longest we got the handshake was about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. From like initial contact to the last thing was about 2 minutes. That was, so I think it involved some feet, some head, butting, not, pause.
Basically, all I'm hearing is that Kangsan made very good use of his time when he was younger. It was very efficient.
I took full advantage of my education.
Yeah.
Both.
And we made it out alive.
Yeah, so there you go. So I wanted to give those people a shout out.
Right on.
If there's something you want to do and you're just scared to try, too scared to try or too intimidated to try, just make a small step in the right direction and just keep the momentum going a little bit every day, like we talked about, I think on the first episode. A little bit every day will get you far eventually.
Yeah.
And, play the long game, be patient, work hard, and things are going to work out for you.
And do it for fun, okay? Don't do it for money. Do it for fun.
Yeah, do it for fun, and the money will come. If you chase the money, the fun doesn't necessarily come with the money. When you do it for fun, the money will follow eventually.
Yeah. I like that. That's a good note.
Yeah.
Kangsan, where can they find us, my boy?
We're all at the same place. I started adding our links to the description, so hopefully people will have a chance to follow. KangsanKim.com, at NASJNAK, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
What? German on InstaG and Twitter, baby, _German. That's where we're at. We'll wrap it up. Thank you again for watching. Kangsan, always a pleasure. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and check us out on Instagram and Twitter.